So once again, hello everyone, and thank you for attending to this Higg FEM 2024 update, section 6 for the air emissions. And by now, almost all of you should know me. My name is Sandra Teixeira. I have a chemical degree in chemical engineering, and I have spent more than 24 years in which 11 of those were spent in the industrial field, in the wet process, and the past few years I've been involved in the development of environmental audits, water assessments, energy assessments, chemical risk assessments in several countries of Europe, as well in Latin America. We would also like to highlight that during this presentation, the audience will be muted in order to ensure the best audio qualities. But in any case, please feel free to send us your question throughout the Q&A function here below. And at the end of each one of the sessions will be a follow-up email with the presentation as well, the video record for you to download. Also, we would like to point out again that these materials are copyrighted by Cascale and Leadership and Sustainability, so please do not share them outside your organizations. And we come back to the agenda with a welcome and Elias introduction. Again, the introduction of FEM 4.0, the overview of the scheduling. We will cover today the section 6, air emissions, and some added value in implementing the Higg FEM and about leadership and sustainability. And by the end, we will have, as usual, a space to discuss our questions or your doubts. So here, the Higg FEM cadence overview for 2024. And as we saw in the previous sessions, you can purchase your modules from November 2024 until October 2024. Then your self-assessment can be done also from November 2024 until December 2025. And the posting of your models is allowed since January 2025 until December 2025. And the verification also can be done since January 2025 until December 2025. But remember, if you wish to have your self-assessment with content locked for benchmarking, this is only allowed until the 30th of April of 2025. So looking into the changes from FEM and the cadence 2023-2024, new changes in the Higg facility environmental module represent a significant step forward to advancing how we measure, report, and improve environmental performance across the textile, apparel, and footwear industries. And these updates are designed to refine the assessment process, enhance the data accuracy, and align with the framework more closely with the global sustainability and regulations expectations. So we anticipate a collaborative effort in navigating these updates. Looking then into the air emission sections, and here we can see the trail overview. We already covered the site info and permits, the environmental management system, the energy and greenhouse gas emissions, the water use, the wastewater, and today's focus will be on the air emissions. So as usual, I'm looking into the levels of questions. We have the questions distributed by 3 levels, level 1, level 2, and level 3. And in the energy, in the air emission sections, there were no new additions in the cadence 2024. So here the questions that you see highlighted were new adds in the cadence 2023. As introduction, the air emissions from industrial process and manufacturing operations have the potential to emit pollutants into the air that impacts in the environment, human health, and contribute to climate change. By proactively managing and working to reduce impacts your facility air emissions, you can reduce your exposure to regulatory risks or new requirements from the business partners. The air emission sections encourage you to identify and understand the types of air emissions and sources of pollutants. Comply with all applicable legal requirements relating to air emissions, permitting, reporting, and testing requirements. Also to track and report emissions of key pollutants in facility operations and production. The air emission sections encourage you to adopt the best available technologies, including materials, processes, and equipment to minimize emissions to air. Also, emissions at your facility, and you can have point source that are airflow, which is actively controlled and directed by a fan or exhaust ducting into the atmosphere from a single stationary fixed source, such as stack or vent. Also, you have fugitive emission source that are those that are passively released into the outdoor environment and not actively directed throughout single exhaust point like stacks or vents. Also, you have mobile emission sources, are those that are non-stationary sources of emissions, like motor vehicles, heavy machinery, small engines. And the mobile emission sources are those that are non-stationary sources of emissions, powered motor vehicles, including forklift trucks and passenger vehicles. Also, heavy machinery like mobile cranes or lifts, small engines like landscaping equipment, and air emissions that you have in your facility, and further it categorizes the emissions based on the nature of the emission sources as follow, that emissions from facility operations, and these include emissions from sources that support facility operations and are not direct result of production processes. As examples, we have boilers, generators, heating and cooling system, combustion heating, refrigerant containing and cooling equipment, and combustion engines also. Also, emissions from production, this includes emissions from sources that are related to production processes. Emissions from production are typically emitted throughout point sources as fugitive emissions. As examples, include production processes that use chemicals, solvents, adhesives, printing, dyeing, and processes that are emitting dust or particles, products of combustion, other hazard or toxic air pollutants. And here we can see the pollutants emitted from operations like particle matter, nitrogen oxide, sulfur oxides, carbon monoxide, volatile organic compounds or total organic carbon compounds, hazards or toxic air pollutants, and pollutants emitted from production processes. You have particulate matters also, nitrogen oxide, sulfur oxides, carbon monoxide, volatile organic compounds or total organic compounds, hazard or toxic air pollutants, ammonia, ozone depleting substances, carbon disulfide, and hydrogen sulfide. As looking at the best available technologies, and best available technologies are defined as the most effective and advanced technology materials, process and equipments available that will result in reduction of pollutants emitted. The best in relation to technology means that the most effective methodology in achieving a high level of protection of the environment. And available means technology that is developed that allows for economical and technical viable implementation, taking into consideration the costs and benefits. Also, technology refers to materials, process, and equipment, and the way it is designed, built, maintained, and operated. The adoption of best available technologies often depends on the specific operations, emission source, and pollutants characteristics at your facility. For example, in some cases, the most effective current solution for reducing particle emissions may be an electrostatic precipitator, and in some other cases, a form of wet scrubbing or cyclone filtration may be more effective. So in all the cases, you need to consider your specifications. In some cases, the most effective current solution for reducing emission organic compounds, like formaldehyde, may be the substitution for an alternative chemical input or the use of a control technology such as thermal oxidation. Also, the best available technology adoption often requires actions such as process wheel or equipment modifications, installation of control equipment, research into alternative raw materials or chemical inputs, requires planning, evaluating of available solutions, and capital allocation. As a summary of the new questions and comment, if you have a facility operation or production air emissions, then you need to complete the air emission section. Then you don't need to complete the air emission sections if you don't have air emissions points, but the compliance and inventories, the inventories for all air emission sources, compliance with legal requirements, the permitting and reporting, and the testing and the monitoring, the refrigerant management, identify the refrigerant types, implement the maintenance procedures, the plan for low ODS or GWP refrigerant replacement. So this you should consider in case you are having air emissions into your facility. And also to have the emission reduction plans like track and reduce emission, and the best available technologies like adopt industry guidelines, utilize BAT for emission reduction. And here now we are going into our level 1 questions and an example that we have selected for today. For the air emission source inventory, as your facility creates an inventory for all point source air emission sources at your facility. Does your facility point source air emissions inventory include unique source identifier, emission point name and number, the process or equipment the source is linked to list the pollutants emitted from that source, the legal or other emission testing or reporting requirements if required, and testing parameters and the frequency if applicable, and control the devices installed on your source also if this is applicable to you. As question 1 still, and as suggested, uploads or documents that will support your answers, a copy of the facility inventory of point source air emission sources should be uploaded in the system. The question 3 is regarding the legal compliance. Is your facility in compliance with all applicable legal requirements relating to air emissions, including all permitting, reporting, and testing requirements? If no, does your facility have an action plan to address the non-compliance? Upload the action plan to the correct of the non-compliance. And if you cannot upload a copy, please describe the action plan. And as suggested uploads for this question, the action plan to address the non-compliance, if it is no, is selected to the main question. Please upload the action plan to correct the non-compliance. And for the question 4 is related to refrigerants use. And do you know what refrigerants your facility uses? As a sub-question, what type of refrigerants do you use in your facility? And you should select all that are applicable. Which specific refrigerants do you use in your facility? What are the type of refrigerants do you use in your facility? Select all that applies, and here you see all the options that will appear in Worldly, and you should select the ones that you are using at your facility or are applicable to you. As example of level 2 questions, we have emission tracking. Does your facility track the total annual emission quantities of key pollutants from all point sources emissions from facility operations? And as pollutants, you will have the particulate matters, the nitrogen oxides, the sulfur oxides, carbon monoxide, volatile organic compounds, and total organic compounds, and hazard or toxic air pollutants. Question 8, also related to emission tracking for level 2. Is this pollutant emitted from the facility? Is the pollutant regulated by a government agency? Was the total annual emission quantity calculated from the reporting year? What is your annual emission quantity in kilograms of the pollutant? The methodology used to determine the annual emission quantity. And now we are going into level 3 questions and emission reduction plans. As your facility make progress on its implementation plan to reduce air emissions from facility operations in the reporting year, and the suggested uploads for this question, supporting evidence to demonstrate the actions implemented, which may include the emission specification of control devices for new modified equipment installations, the pollutant destruction or removal efficiency, evidence of fuel substitutions, and purchase of consumption records. Emission specifications or calculated emissions reduction estimatives from actions or alternative fuel sources that show emissions that have been reduced. And as suggested uploads for this question, we have the supporting evidence to demonstrate that best adoption of best available technologies at your facility operations and is being operated, maintained in accordance with manufacturers' recommendations. Example, the maintenance schedules, inspection records, operating parameters, monitoring the manufacturer specifications for operations and maintenance. And this is what we have prepared for today's session regarding the air emissions. And again, we are going to show you our map where leadership and sustainability team is based, and we are located, the places where we are located around the globe. Also here you can see our list of experts in Higg FEM and where we are based in several countries in the world. As well, we have a reminder for our LES Academy platform, that is a self-paced learning platform for your sustainability education. And we would like to point out also our collaborative service with ZDHC. Leadership and Sustainability is chemical inventory verification services, and also in-check verification. And since last year, November, we are partnering with Clean Chain, that is an approved solution provider for in-check generation. And having value or the benefits by generating ZDH in-check reports with Clean Chain, chemical management inventories, so the suppliers can upload and maintain their chemical inventories within the Clean Chain, ensuring up-to-date records, as well the integration with ZDHC Gateway. So Clean Chain connects with ZDHC Gateway, allowing for seamless access to ZDHC chemical module and extensive product library. Also, to perform performance and monitoring, Clean Chain offers tools to track chemical usage, manage safety data sheets, and monitor overall chemical compliance throughout the dashboards and the scorecards. And finally, we would like to also highlight our leadership and sustainability current services with ZDHC, like ZDHC trainings, the in-check verification, and as well the supply to zero level 2 and 3 verifications. Here you can also see where our team are based and our experts in ZDHC, and note that all the verifiers are authorized to perform the verifications worldwide according to the customer requirements. And our team again, and our contacts, in order to you reach out to us in case you feel the need of any of our services or any questions, please contact us. You can see here also our website, our email, and the phone numbers.